Roddy Piper is how you say it. Hello everyone, I'm Taylor Bambico. I'm a self-published author in both young adult and adult, and today I'm discussing the sequel to Bellum, Letalis. So I wasn't sure whether or not this book was actually going to happen. I had the idea in my head, but I wasn't really convinced I wanted to do this. So at this point I'm like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? What happened was I said, okay, you want to write this book, you're going to have to sell it to yourself. And I did that by merely writing out the scene I had in my head. It took about a day and a half. I let it sit for a couple weeks. I went back, read it, said, okay, I like this. We're going forward with this project. So Letalis picks up about a month after Bellum. Riley's just driving around in the vehicle she inherited, which I thought I said what it was in the video where I was talking about the sequel. Turns out I didn't. What she inherits is actually a monster truck from her godfather, Kane West. And the reason for that is I've always been a fan of those since I was about, 3-4 years old, and I actually got to see the truck, which I fell in love with years ago, and that would be Bigfoot. And of course, before the show, there was a pit party. I got to meet the driver of Bigfoot, which was Mike Miller. And this past April, when I was at the show, and Mike said this was one of their older trucks, I said, it's not old, it's just experienced. He thought that was a pretty good way to put it, actually. He was a really cool guy to talk with. We spoke for about at least a half hour before the show began. In fact, during the pit party, it was like from 4 to 6 o'clock. I was actually in the pit for about at least another 15-20 minutes after it ended, which was really a lot of fun to do. And in fact, the truck I actually saw was Bigfoot 14. That's the same truck, if I remember correctly, was the one Dan Runte used to jump. It was either a Boeing 707 or 727. I'll find the video and put the link in that description below for everyone. It really is a pretty cool video to see him do that, and to see what the trucks now could do versus what they did in the 80s and early 90s. Well, actually, the trucks in the early 90s they couldn't do that, but they could do much more impressive feats than what the Stage 2s, which were in the 1980s. And now I'm going on a tangent. Let's get back on topic here. We need to go back to speaking about Letalis, not my love affair with monster trucks. I don't know if we'll do a video on that later on, but we might. I don't know. Anyway, back to Letalis. So she has this truck, and she's driving around. That does look like a lot of fun, actually. I'd have to channel my inner Jim Cramer if I ever do that, though. Of course, these vehicles aren't street legal, but another ability Riley has is she's able to make it where people around her don't pay attention to her in this case. They'll see it, but they just go, oh, okay, whatever. So she's driving this truck, and she goes back to the pizzeria she visited in the first book, and she's having lunch there. She's not having a good day, and she's just venting to the owner, and something just doesn't feel right. She ends up shooting him.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Hey, thank you for weighing in, Mr. Burgundy. You stay classy. She felt this in the first book, this nauseating sensation in the pit of her stomach. She initially thought this was just her evolving into the Demariano. Turns out that's not the case. Being around the owner of the pizzeria, she is able to feel it a lot more intense now, which she felt the same feeling when walking around other human beings as well. She's wondering what is it, so she ends up shooting him again in the head, and his brains come out, and she notices that the brain tissue is not what you would normally expect. It's kind of black and green, as if like mold or something's rotting it away. And she's wondering, is that what's making me nauseous? Knowing she has to flee the scene, she's of course interrupted by law enforcement, which one of them really makes her feel nauseous and the other one doesn't. So she disarms the one officer who isn't making her feel sick at all and tells him to run after, of course, having to shoot the other one. Well aware there's no turning back at this point, once outside, she's confronted with more law enforcement. She's like, okay, there's something clearly wrong with you humans. If you guys are making me sick. Of course, at that point, she just heaves everything out of her stomach because it just makes her so sick. Once past that, she's just about to get back into her truck, and as I had in the first book, there are drones that are owned by law enforcement which are flying around. Of course, at this point, this one is reading her Miranda rights and snaps her picture. That particular part was kind of influenced by the scene in They Live, where Roddy Piper is how you say it, where in this case the drone flies over.
And who are you, little fella? Come to show 'em where I am. Not nice.
No, that wasn't nice at all. Stupid drone. Riley does the same thing, but with a 9mm handgun. That's right after the infamous,
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
someone get this man some gum! In fact, I had that morale patch. She climbs into her truck, she backs up. Of course, there's a whole wall of police cars, and she's like, really? You're going to stand in front of me with this? It's like, okay. In the first book, she discovers the truck has an air horn. She uses that real quick. Don't use that now, Riley! Puts the truck in drive and basically does this. I don't know how law enforcement would explain that to the insurance company. What do you mean she drove over it? It was a very fun scene to write. They do end up shooting at her, but she's able to put a force field in front of the truck so the bullets just fly off. They don't hit her at all. This then leads to a raid on her house on Palm Island. Everyone thinking that she's just human thinks this is just going to end with her probably either getting killed or surrendering. With her being the Demariano, she's able to use her powers. Discovering a thermal optic mounted to a .338 Lukua Magnum rifle, she's able to actually see heat signatures and realizes those who don't make her feel nauseous have a regular heat signature, which allows her to differentiate those who, from what she's understanding, are too far gone. She kills them. Those with a regular heat signature, she just uses her telekinesis and just moves them out of the way, giving them non-life-threatening injuries, broken ribs, concussions, and the like. And this is only possible that she was able to resist them because of a cache of firearms that she discovered at her godfather's house. And so she's using these to resist. And one scene I thought was really fun is when she has to jump out a window and she lands in her pool. And of course she's at the very bottom of the pool and the helicopter's flying over. They shine the spotlight on her. She's able to part the waters like... Was that... No, that wasn't Moses. That was Moses. Well, Riley didn't spread her arms. She just used her powers and the water parted, which I thought was a really cool scene to shoot in my head. And to get the helicopter out of the way, she just shoots at it. Law enforcement pulls back. They have no idea what they're dealing with because no one's dealt with a creature like this before. I wouldn't even know what to do. I mean, in Bellum, it's a part where she gets her head blown off and it grows back.
It grows back.
Yes, Agent K, her head can grow back. She also gets shot in the eye, and she heals within like several minutes. Not even several minutes. Well aware she has to leave this vicinity as well, she teleports over to California and takes refuge in the house that her godfather used to live in. While she's there, she discovers a little notebook with a list of names in it. This, of course, being a list of different hunters that Kane could turn to or to watch out for. Riley's first thought is maybe I should meet up with these hunters. They might know something that I don't. Also, they probably have more experience, they've been around longer. She's been this creature, the Demariano, not even 6 months. So she jumps back to the year 1986 to meet up with the first hunter, which is pretty cool because I was really looking into the 80s. It just seemed like a really good time. Of course, it might just be the pictures, I don't know, I wasn't alive at that time. But I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. Anyway, I will be doing more videos about my progress with this book as time goes on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when I post new videos, and subscribe if you want to see more content. See ya!